everyone, and welcome to the Mortuary. I am the Mortician, and I'm kind of shooting out of a crack shed a little bit. Maybe wondering what's going on. So right now I kind of, again, bounce around. So recording in one of my mom's sheds. I'm not living in here, but I kind of like carved out this little space, not just for me, but for like myself, my brother, and whatnot. Because this shed, a little bit of Morty lore, this shed that I'm actually in, my uncle and my dad, they used to actually play drums and guitar in here together. So it's kind of like always been a hangout spot. So I figured, why not spruce it up a little bit? So that's what I've been doing. Show you around just real quick. My Mortician flag. Like an actual setup. Like it's not like, we're all chilling in here. It's a great little spot for me to get away from the kids for a little while. It's cool. So, today we're talking about symphonic black metal for beginners. I love this genre. This is one of my favorite genres of metal, just in general. And we're just gonna hop right into this bullshit, alright? So for the first one we have is Hecate Enthroned, Dark Requiems, and Unsilent Massacre. So I picked this one in particular because this is, if you've listened to Emperor and you might think it's like a little too like intense for you, this is closer to Cradle of Filth's earlier stuff if you like that stuff. So it's not really that big of a deal if you kind of like start with this here. It'll actually be a perfect point of reference because while it is heavier than Cradle of Filth, absolutely, it still maintains so much of that gothic kind of like atmosphere and whatnot that it's just mad easy to approach if you're into that kind of early Cradle of Filthy realm. So the next one we have Limbonic Arts, Moon of the Scorpio. This is one of my favorite albums ever. Dude, honestly, a little bit of a story. I found this one at a record shop for like $20, and I was like, over the moon. It is very synth heavy. Like the guitars almost kind of like linger behind all of the synths and everything else. You can still hear it, but it's not as like up in your face as like, I don't know, like Emperor still has a lot of really up in your face guitar standout points. The guitars really just add emphasis to the orchestral stuff. And there's quite a few bands that I'll be referencing here that I talk about here where I'll reference back to that album because it's kind of like, I think it laid the blueprint kind of almost in a way, not that they were the first, but kind of like the first really big band to get into more bombastic orchestral sounding stuff. So I'll leave you with that. And the next one we have is Indolorium Gloria by Parnassus. Parnassus. It's right here. You'll see it. I'll even put a little text there. But basically, this album is... this is a ripper. Like, this album goes really fucking fast. Like, this is definitely... like, the last stage of, like, when it comes to symphonic shit. Because it really has all of that same kind of, like... It's synth-heavy. Has a lot of, like... I don't even know how to describe it. Like, almost high-pitch synths in this. And they're very, very fast-paced. Riffs are almost constantly treble-picking. They do slow down occasionally. But this, overall, is just a ripper of a fucking album. Like, it will rip your face off kind of stuff. And if you're into, the faster-paced black metal, like, just full disclaimer, I tend to like the slower shit. Like, I like Mystifier a lot. I like a lot of the Black Twilight Circle, so, like, shit like Rhino Serves and whatnot. And they're kind of like on the slower to mid-pace range. This is definitely up there with like, not as intense as something like Panzer Division Marduk, but probably as close as you can get while maintaining a symphonic sound, if that makes sense to you. So now that the gradient's over, we're going to be talking about just general recommendations. I'm just going to tell you like my favorite bands from the genre and my favorite albums and just kind of like, send you on your way. One thing I like to say before I do this is I always like to tell people I don't like to insult your intelligence. So if you're expecting to see like not Mayhem, but like Emperor on this list or like Demo Borger, I'm not going to do that to you because I'm already going to assume that you've at least tried something from them and kind of have a baseline idea of what they're sounding like, and you're kind of finding more of, you're trying to find more. So for the first one we have Sirius's Aeons of Magic. The best way to describe this one is it's a very dark experience. So the other ones I'm talking about, there's a lot of high notes, a lot of like, I don't even want to say it's like ear piercing, but it's very high pitch at times for a lot of the symphonic stuff. But for this, it's a lot more experiencing the more like the bass side of orchestral music, and the darker parts. Like there's a lot of like swelling strings and slow pads and shit like that. It's very, very dark. It is absolutely incredible. One of my favorites on this list, as a matter of fact. Odium, the Sad Realm of the Stars. If you like Emperor, this is what Emperor should have sounded like. I don't even think I have to say more than that. Like, realistically, it's not that to say that I don't like In the Night Side Eclipse. It's just when people describe In the Night Side Eclipse to me, this is what I imagine, not so much what I get. Great album. I like it. I know it's pretty contested within my circle of friends and whatnot. I like In the Night Side Eclipse. But, like, realistically, if people were like, the way people talk about it, they should be talking about it like this. They're, like, maybe not brothers in terms of sound, but they're like step brothers. Like they grew up together, like different dads, like grew up together type of thing. Different enough, but definitely from the same family, if you know what I'm talking about. Next on the list is Dies Arai, Circle of Leth. I love Dungeon Synth. I love black metal. If you don't know what Dungeon Synth is, I'll make a video on that. I'll probably end up making a video on that very soon. But this basically, real quick, Dungeon Synth is essentially you ever listen to like RuneScape music? It can be something like that, or something that is very akin to like medieval folk music. It has a lot to do with more fantasy elements, so think like what you would think you would be hearing if you were playing like D&D or something, or an RPG. That's typically how Dungeon Synth sounds. These guys basically took Dungeon Synth and layered like raw black metal all throughout it, and it's really, really good. It's very intense on the Dungeon Synth, but it's too good and too unique for me to just not include it. Next, we have Ceremonial Castings, the Chaos Chapter. This one, I don't want to say they kind of sound like Demon Borger, because I feel like that's kind of an insult. But they kind of have that same DNA, where they really like their palm mutes and really quick transitions and riffs. Really, really good stuff. Better than Demon Borger, in my opinion. But if you're looking for that kind of a sound, again, not one-to-one, because these guys actually try to write riffs, and they actually, succeed. They're not just like type shit. Like actual riffs, this is kind of what you're looking for. Lux Occulta, Dionysus. Do you like Septic Flesh? Do you like black metal of any kind? You will fucking love this band. This band, I mean, honestly, it's not even just the theme of the album, but just the way that they let everything breathe just reminds me so much of Septic Flesh. Like, obviously not a one-to-one sound, because they're not death metal, they're a black metal band. But they have almost that same formula where they kind of let everything stand out, breathe, and naturally, like, descend. Like, if you listen to, like, Ophidian Wheel, you know exactly what I mean when they have that transition from the, like, to the, well, the night, blah, 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 to its rival, night enters day, like, that little transition, and then it goes into a bombastic thing. That, as symphonic black metal, like, it's fucking amazing, and I'm pissed more people don't talk about this one and their first album, actually. The name of their first album was Scasey, but I heard it, like, not that long ago while trying to do some research for this. It's fantastic. Fantastic. And yes, I actually do research, because sometimes albums don't sound exactly the same to me now as they did when I first heard them, so it makes sense to give them another go. Bishop of Hexen. ancient hymns of legends and lore. I wrote that like an idiot on there. This is actually more akin to like, this has a lot of folk influence, where a lot of symphonic, like black metal, takes from like, again, like orchestral shit like Mozart or like Beethoven, shit like that. This is more folky, a lot more emphasis on like solo flutes, a lot more emphasis on woodwinds, and it really, really sets this demo apart from a lot of what's on this list. Riffs are great, but I really like it for its unique blend of black metal and more folky. I don't even call it, it's not folk metal. Like, it's not folk metal. Like, definitively is not. You'll understand exactly what I mean when you hear it. I think you have 23 minutes to listen to this thing. That's all it is. It's 23 minutes. You got the time. Don't say you don't. This shed is... There's so much dust in this shed. Mephistopheles, Songs of the Desolate Ones. This is a weird one because a lot of people consider just like melodic black or something. They have a lot of elements going on. Like, it's hard to fit them neatly in a box, and I always kind of like to throw something that is kind of outside. I know, like, Desiree is kind of, but this band is not really symphonic. Like, they kind of exist in this weird space between melodic black metal and symphonic black metal, where they have a lot of this and some of this. And it's an absolutely fantastic sound. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's very fast-paced, very energetic is really how I would describe it. It's in its own kind of little, I don't know, like if there was a Venn diagram, it's just kind of in the center of the two. Tartaros, the Red Jewel. This one's nuts. I don't even know how to fully describe this to you without sounding like a broken record. But it's like, it's, again, a high emphasis on really high-paced riffing, high-paced drum patterns. It's just very, very energetic. And the thing about this that really kind of sets it apart is, like, the synths, like, follow this shit. So it's not just simply, like, when the synths follow, like, the slower parts of the song. Like, imagine the entire fucking album is just, like, a dude just, like, sweating over a keyboard while some dude's just ripping up a fucking black metal riff. Like, that's what this is. Like, it really showcases, like, I don't know, like, a unique brain. Like, it's just a really, really neat little album. I love it. And I think... I think anybody who likes... What is the closest thing I could say? Like, there's not really a close comparison either. Like, it's... I don't know, man. It's something you just gotta try, dude. That's something you just gotta try. And lastly, Vesperian Sorrows Beyond the Cursed Eclipse. So, this one is kind of like... It kind of has elements of Cradle of Filth, but it's primarily like actual fucking symphonic black metal. Like, it's probably closer to something like Obsidian Gate or again Emperor, who gets brought up a lot because, well, they kind of started a lot of the tropes and shit you find in this kind of black metal. And they basically just take that kind of like weird, kind of like, again, it almost feels not even lyrically, but more stylistically a gothic sound. And not even fully, like, they just incorporate it and encapsulate it in this really, actually dark and fucked up kind of, like, real evil. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about when you listen to some of this shit. When I say real evil, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say this shit. This is like if all of these bands together kind of, like, came together and made something. It's not to say that this is the best album on this list. I don't think it is. But it is something that kind of wears all of its influences on its sleeve, and it's better for it. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Mortician. Peace out, brothers.